Hello everyone and welcome, it's Shanna. Now today I'm working with Spellbinders Autumn Greetings Wreath, and this has 13 cutting dies in it. It has some twigs and some leaves and some gourds and pumpkins, and it also has an Autumn Greetings shadow die. And so I've got all of my die pieces cut out here, and we're going to bring in a card base. And I had some of that Woodland Tells paper left over, and I thought this was a really fun fall look. Not your just bright oranges in that. It's more of a muted fall tone, and I just thought it would be fun to work with this paper since I have it. I've got it in the 12 by 12 set because I got the whole Woodlands 12 by 12 paper pack and the things that went along with it. And so as I was looking for something fall, I decided that I would go with it and just kind of create a card with this color scheme. So I kind of made up my own color scheme this time and didn't use the DIY color deck, but I think using a piece of pattern paper is good for that. So I've got a piece of Spellbinders cardstock here, and you can see I have die cut out the frame to my door and my Autumn Greetings on there. This is actually the, what color is this? This color is the mulberry, and I think it's really pretty, and it matches that tone that is in that pattern paper, and so I thought I would use it. And I'm just going to create a base. We're going to start with our base foundation here. I like to gut my paper on the or my cardstock on the inside when I can, just because I don't like to waste it, and I like to make it go a long way. So that's why I die cut that frame and my greeting out of here, and then we can just lay it down and no one will be the wiser. So I'm just going to have a nice little frame. We're not doing, like a nested frame die or anything on this. We're just going to have a couple rectangular panels. Now here I took my Weekender vacation die that had the door. I can't remember what it's called. I'll link it up in the description box if I'm able. And then I took Yana's City Holiday window die, and I created a window in this door. I wanted a door for this scene, and this was how I was able to create it. You could certainly do a lot of different things to create a door, but I had these dies, and so I thought I would just work them together to create kind of the scene that I wanted. So this is just a little door frame, and it's just bringing back in that mulberry cardstock from Spellbinders just to kind of match this frame around here. And I think it looks really nice. The gray was I just had a strip of the gray, and so I wanted to use it for my door. And that gray cardstock is actually Anchor from Spellbinders. Now I'm just going to bring in some brown twigs, and instead of making a wreath with this, now the product packaging shows a wreath. You could certainly wind these around and create a wreath for your door. But I recently created some wreaths with my Christmas set that is very similar to this. So I decided instead of doing a wreath, I would just kind of drape these branches across my door frame here and just create a card with that. So we're just going to take all these little branches and just kind of line them up along one side of the door, and then we will adorn them with some of our pumpkins, our gourds, our leaves, and just create a little scene here, and I think it's a fun little card. Some of the color choices were a little bit different for me. You can see I've got that Autumn Greetings laying on a shadow that's, we've kind of got a dark and then a kind of a bright, bold shadow there, and it's kind of a stark contrast, but I think it works. I think it works with the pumpkins and the door frame and our layered pattern that we have there. So I'm just going to put little dots of glue all along this Autumn Greetings and get it laid down on its shadow so that we'll have that ready. I'm trying to figure out how much space I'm going to need for that greeting and then fill in around it with my other elements. So I'm going to go ahead and get this laid down on there. So it's been a busy week or so with Spellbinders and all of the August 10th release things. So I hope you've enjoyed. I've had a lot of fun working with all of these dies on my various videos and lives, and just showcasing them. They've got a lot of really cool stuff going out right now. And as always, I link all of the materials in the description box below, so that if you see something you like, you can click on it and go straight to the product. And it does help support my channel and my work. So here I've got my Autumn Greetings. I'm kind of getting a feel for how much room, and now I'm going to start bringing in some of my other elements and seeing, how many I can fit on there and make it work. Now these little green pieces are the stems and the little vines that attach to the pumpkins and the gourds and all that. And so I'm going to get them laid out there so I can figure out which ones fit on which. And it does take a minute, because you've got, several different ones, and then they're different sizes and stuff. So you got to kind of sort through there and figure out what goes with what. I've been kind of bouncing back and forth between Christmas product and fall products, just because of the things that I have to work with. So we've kind of got like a seasonal, I don't even know what kind of like a seasonal whirlwind going on. We're going from one to the other and back and forth, but I think it gives you some variety of some things to look at. And if you are in the Christmas mood, you can check out some of the Christmas products. And if you're not quite ready yet to move on to those things, or you're tired of all the Christmas in July we've had, you can certainly enjoy some of these autumn makes as well. I think I've even got some Halloween-y type things coming up, so be looking forward to that as well. This is like a pomegranate, I think. I don't wind up using it on there, but I think that's what it is. I might be wrong. If I am, let me know in the comment box below. So we'll get this one laid down on there. I'm just trying to use my tweezers to get them lined up really nice and neat, and just pinch them very close. And you can see the etched detail on the gourds, kind of make them have that dimension and a little more interesting look. So I'm going to add the vine that I've got laying here to one of my pumpkins, and we'll just put some glue on there and get it added. I think it's a fun little extra element to the pumpkin. And we'll just get all these little pieces laid on there, and then we can start building our card. And I'm sure I have more pieces than what I need. I started out with a couple of colors, and then I found some other colors and just kind of kept die cutting and adding to it, and even kind of changed the color scheme as I went along, just based upon what I liked. But you can certainly, and I did, I went ahead and took these leaves and branches and stems and pumpkins and gourds, and I tucked them back into the packaging of this die set, so that if I go and pull it out again here real soon, I've already got some of the pieces prepared, and I could quickly work with what I have. So that makes it easy to just, pick it up and work with it again and have some of the pieces ready. It kind of cuts down on your die cutting when you go to work with it again. And if you have the nice storage packets like I do, they will keep well in there. So here I'm just looking at all of these stems and trying to find what gourds or pumpkins they go on. I think you get the drift of this, so I think I'll fast forward and we'll start putting the card together. And I said that, I think I cut out all of 3 seconds of video footage, so we're going to start laying everything down here. Just kind of getting a feel for it. I like the idea of layering the pumpkins and the gourds together there on either side of the door. I think it'll make a cute scene. I don't know about you guys, but I do decorate my front door, and I do like to add some different things, or on my porch around my front door. especially for fall. I love decorating for fall. I have a lot of fall decor. In fact, it is I probably have more fall than perhaps Christmas, but then Christmas is the second set of decor that I have a lot of. I do have a lot of Christmas, but I do have a lot of fall because it is one of my fun times to decorate. So we'll just tuck some leaves in here throughout these twigs, and we'll just kind of wrap it around the door, and we'll get, our greeting laid down, and we'll get our other pumpkins, and this one's going to come together pretty quickly. Really, the color scheme just really started out with that Woodland Tales paper, and it's kind of like a water brush stroke with just the various colors on there. And I wanted to use it because it really wasn't like a fall pattern paper, but it had some colors that I thought that could work well for the fall. So I'm trying to bring in some leaves that also match the colors of my pumpkins and my gourds that I have laying down in there, just to have some continuity of color. And we've got all different types of leaves. Looks like maple leaves and oak leaves, and yeah, I don't know what they mostly look like maple and oak to me, but I'm not a leaf expert, but I do know maple and I know oak. So I remember in school we had to do a leaf collection project where we had to collect a bunch of different types of leaves and identify them, but that has been many, many years ago. I think I even did it with one of my daughters when they were in school. I think we went and collected leaves, and she had to do a project. So I don't know, is that something they still do in school anymore? So we've got our autumn greetings, and I'm going to let it hang across my door. And so I know in doing that I'm going to need some foam for the sides of these. So we'll just bring in some foam and put it on the one side that's going to hang off our door, and then will help our greeting to lay nice and flat. I like this font. I think this is a fun font. And I'm going to straighten it up. I realized I didn't get enough glue on there, so it went flying. I'm going to grab it. I think I decided I needed to just pop it up on both sides just to get it. I think maybe the foam tape that I'd used was a little bit higher than what I needed, and so I'm just going to layer it up. I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. So we will get this laid down on our card, and I think it looks really pretty. I think it's coming together. I'm going to add some more of these pumpkins and some leaves and stuff just because I have so many of them. We'll get them laid down on here. So I'm doing this voiceover on Monday, the first day that the grandsons went back to school, and I got a lot of cute, fun pics from Mom and Dad, and the littlest that's just turned 3 had a really good day, and it looks like from the pictures made some friends and enjoyed the playground. Got a little picture of him red-faced on the playground, looked like he'd been playing hard. So I'm sure he had a good time. He does like to play on the playground, and to have some friends that are his age, I think will be fun for him as well, not just his older brother to kind of pick on and argue with. So, but it looked like overall I had a good day. I told my husband it was funny. They had a little picture of him of his table where all the kids were lined up at the table and they were having their snacks. And I said to my husband, I said, little do those other kids know that Gunnar will eat all of his snacks and probably all of theirs too. He is a little snacker and will just gobble up anything. So the kids will have to guard their snacks if they don't want Gunnar to eat them. So we'll get some more stems put on our pumpkins and our gourds and get them laid down in. I'm going to bring in a leaf and I'll tuck it behind this one pumpkin, but we'll get this gourd laid down. And I'm going to grab that darker leaf and bring it back in and just tuck it in so that we'll have another piece of that darker color. And then that'll finish it off. I think it looks really pretty. So let me know what you think. Take care and have a great week. See you soon. Bye-bye.